On this episode of the Globe Sports Corner, our team takes a look at a new era of cohesion between men's and women's volleyball. We sit down with the director of Goshen College Tennis to talk about the quick adjustments he and his teams have had to make. And we'll visit the LEAFYs, Goshen's most prestigious annual athletics program. All that and more on the Globe Sports Corner. From inside the revamped Globe Studios, my name is Collin Echols, and after a summer hiatus from Maple Leaf Athletics, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to the first Globe Sports Corner of the 2023-24 school year. While we do have a new look on screen, the Globe content remains the same, and to kick things off, we have a jam-packed episode, so don't change the channel. You won't want to miss out. With fall sports already underway, some of our athletes are already making names for themselves. One in particular, freshman Blanca Bodo of the women's tennis team. In a match against Judson University this past weekend, Bodo added 2 more solo wins to her name, keeping her at a perfect 5-0 for the season. Her efforts helped GC complete a 4-set sweep over the Eagles and improve to 2-3 on the year. Now, that's not the last of her that you'll hear in this episode. We'll dive deeper into Bodo's performances and more about the entire tennis program in just a little while, so stick around for that. In the athletic offseason, GC saw a lot of changes, new bowling teams being added, nearly a dozen first-year or newly promoted head coaches, but this summer also saw several new directors appointed over entire programs on both the men's and women's side. Among those is the volleyball team, now under the direction of Jeff Phillips. With a deep dive into the story, here's Kate Bodeker.
Historically, the men's and women's volleyball teams at Goshen College have not been as linked as other programs on campus. However, with changes coming this year to the coaching staff, women's player Sadie Brunneman is looking forward to the two groups' evolving dynamic.
Sometimes it feels like other, men's and women's sports on campus are really close and they do a lot of things together, and I think that's something that we as a team would really like in the future.
This change comes about due to an unusual hiring decision, creating the position of Director of Volleyball, meaning that Jeff Phillips, who recently started in the position, will be the head coach for both the men's and the women's teams. Though players were not initially sure how the position would play out, things have been looking positive while still in the early stages of the new adjustments.
So far, it's positively impacted the program in a way that I don't think just hiring a men's coach would have done, so I'm excited about it.
Coach Phillips is also hoping the program will be as interlinked as possible.
Both programs kind of help each other out. Obviously, there's usually a couple of men's players who are managers for the women's team, lots of women's players either working men's games, men's players working women's games, and vice versa. So I think there's already some connection at play there.
Though coaching the two teams will be different, in many ways, both teams are sticking to the basics.
Once we're in the gym, it's volleyball. Obviously, the men's game and the women's game is different, but it's still volleyball, it's still coaching, it's still doing those type of things.
The women's team is also looking for not only physical excellence in their sport, but improved mental toughness and positive outlook as well.
We read a book over the summer as a team, working on just, mental reps, mental prep, overall sort of environment, and just general team culture type things.
Better attitudes and better work ethic the entire season.
Though it's still early in the season, the coaches and players are looking forward to a year of successes.
A little bit of excitement and a little bit of progress as we move forward, and that'll get more people in the gym, more people start coming to matches. I think that's super important.
We have a lot of teams that we play that are beatable this year that I don't think have been in the past, so I'm really excited about that.
Some real potential to have some upsets in the conference. I think we're going to get a couple conference wins this year, which I think is something to be very excited for.
Reporting for Globe Sports, I'm Kate Bodeker.
Under the new direction and coaching of Jeff Phillips, the women's volleyball team is off to a hot start to the season. They've already won 5 more matches in 2023 than they did the entire 2022 season. And coming up, we'll have the new director of tennis, Jon Bemisderfer, in the studio to sit down and talk about taking over the program in record time and the success that the team is finding this year. That's up next after this break on the Globe Sports Corner.
Goshen College. Everyone's at home here. Students from around the world and down the street find inspiration and lifelong friends in our unique, supportive community, right here in northern Indiana. Cutting-edge academics, real-world learning, and small, personalized classes make the difference, all surrounded by world-class culture and championship sports. Most importantly, it all leads to a record of amazing outcomes in diverse fields of study. From pre-med to social work, broadcasting to accounting, schedule your campus visit today at goshen.edu/visit.
Welcome back to the Globe Sports Corner, and it is now that time in the show where we sit down with our special guest for the day, the new director of the tennis program at Goshen College, Jon Bemisderfer. Jon, first and foremost, thank you so much. I want to be the first person to welcome you into the Globe studios for your time here at Goshen College. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to come join us.
Thanks for having me.
So I want to jump right into things. It's been several weeks now since you've gotten your official role. August 14th was the announcement that you were the new director of tennis here at Goshen College. Run me through what that day is like, finding out on August 14th that you're the new director of a program, and in 5 days you got to turn around and hold first practice, and a few days after that first game or first match.
A lot of sitting at the desk and staring at a wall, thinking about how it's all gonna kind of plan out. So I spent a lot of time organizing practices in my head and finally getting things on paper and not really knowing how anything works. So it's been a lot of learning on the go, on the fly.
You're taking over for a group of athletes who at the end of the year last year found out that their coach was stepping away for the program. Some of them have been around that coach for a while, and I know through personal experience, having a new coach, a new director introduced into your program can be hard to adapt to, especially if you've been with the same one for several years. How have you seen some of your players respond to the new environment, the new adaptation, and how have they really just bought in to you and the new program this year?
It's a great question, because it's one thing you just don't know going into it, and not having established relationships with them is a little bit tricky. But when I interviewed, I met with the team, did a Zoom interview with the team, and I could tell from just the conversation that I had with the athletes that they're a very close-knit group, a family, and I have a large family myself, so it was kind of familiar to me. So I really kind of focused on getting to know everyone and trying to find out a lot about them as a person and in their game, and being on the court with them has also, during competition, and I think they realize that I do care, and I want to help them as much as I can. So
you're off to a 2-3 start so far this season. You open conference play this afternoon with a big matchup. It's the U.S. Highway 20 Cup against Bethel. So a big rivalry to open, a really tough Crossroads League conference schedule. You're coming over from Indiana Wesleyan. Talk about that transition, moving from one school in the Crossroads League to another, and then opening your new schedule with such a big rivalry.
Yeah, being at IWU was great because I got to coach my daughter for 4 years, and that was kind of my main motivation for being there. And then I discovered that I really enjoyed being a college coach, and that was something that developed later on. And as far as similarities, I know a lot of the coaches. I think I've been 2 years now not in the league, but coming back, so I know the coaches and had good relationships with them before, so it's just a matter of reestablishing those. But again, there haven't been a lot of differences, being at IWU and being at Goshen. I mean, my experience was really, really good with my daughter and things there, and being here, I feel like it's very, very similar in that family type of atmosphere.
Starting off on your early successes, I want to focus on one of your younger players, Blanca Bodo, who is off to a hot 5-0 start. Yep. She helped you guys this past weekend against Judson, come away with a 4-set sweep. Talk about her and what it's been like for such a young player to come in and really make a big impact on a team that is adjusting to a new director, new coach.
Yeah, Blanca's had has had a great start. She'll be the first one to tell you. I know, really, really nervous her first match, and it was the time that we spent during that was just to try to get things calmed down, and hey, this is not something that you haven't done before. It's just a different environment, and but she's been able to really show that she belongs in the lineup, and obviously with the 5-0 start, I mean, she's definitely going to be competitive against whoever. And some of the players that she's beaten have been higher ranked players. On paper, they're above her. Yeah.
So how have you seen another thing with the upperclassmen kind of meshing with some of the successful lowerclassmen? How have you seen that mesh come together? Because I know for some teams, when some of the lowerclassmen come in, and they start to shine, they get their own spotlight. It can create a little bit of tension, but how have you seen them merge, especially with that close family aspect that you talked about the team having?
It's good, very good question, because a lot of times the more established players, or even like a better player, doesn't necessarily want to hit with someone who's not as good as them or that's slower. We don't have that on our team at all, on either situation. Everyone is very willing to help everyone out in practice. It doesn't matter what position they play. We've used our 7 and 8 players regularly in competing the first couple matches. We've had some injuries, and they've stepped up. No problems whatsoever. I think everyone is really interested in helping the team.
What kind of goals have you and the team set for this fall, beginning conference play, and just coming out with a fresh start and a fresh look for this season?
I'm not much of a huge goal setter, personally. I like to go through things and then figure out where we can. I like winning. I do. I think that may be, I don't know, like a hidden goal, but we're going to try to do everything we can to perform at our best. And so that's how I see my role as far as implementing goals and strategies. It's really we need to get to know each other. We haven't had that much time. That's big on the list. And then another is to be able to figure out who plays best in what situation. Our doubles lineups aren't necessarily set in stone yet. We're still figuring that out as well. So I think it's more of a let's learn as we go through this, and then as we finish our season, at least this fall, and then we'll start to get ready for the next, and I'll have a lot of information, and we'll have a very good plan as far as postseason and off-court training to get them ready for next fall.
Before we wrap things up, with new Maple Leafs fan base behind you, do you have any final words for everyone, parents of the program, fans, supporters in general?
Thanks for supporting us. Go Leafs.
Coach, couldn't have said it any better myself. I want to thank you again for joining me today. And like we said, this afternoon, the Maple Leafs tennis continues conference play. They start off against the Bethel Pilots at 3 in Mishawaka. So best of luck to you guys, and bring us home some U.S. Highway 20 Cup points.
There we go. Thanks, Collin.
Every year for one night, the entire Goshen College Athletics hosts a one-night event to honor and award the top coaches, teams, athletes, and even fans from the year prior. If you follow GC Athletics on any social media platforms, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the LEAFYs. The ever-popular SP's bigger and obviously better brother. This past Sunday, the whole GC Athletics student body gathered in Goshen's Humble Center to recognize their fellow Maple Leafs. Seth Smith-Kaufman will have the scoop after the break.
Goshen students enjoy an amazing record of success. What's the secret? It starts with hands-on learning experiences. Whether it's a service project in Peru, a sustainability semester at our Environmental Learning Center, or broadcasting for our award-winning radio station, it adds up to life-changing perspectives and real-world skill development that makes a difference to future employers. And it's all available at a campus that makes everyone feel at home. Come hang out with us and see for yourself. Schedule your campus visit today at goshen.edu/visit.
This weekend, student athletes, coaches, and athletic staff put on their Sunday best and gathered together in the Humble Center to celebrate and honor athletic achievements at GC's most prestigious event, the LEAFYs. Erica Albertine, athletic director at Goshen College, loves the celebration and how it represents all that the department did as a whole.
So the LEAFYs is really modeled after the SBs on a little bit of a smaller scale, but we try to make it just a really celebratory event. All things from athletic excellence to academic excellence to community engagement. And I think the biggest thing is unity is one of the core values of the Live Full that we have in the athletic department, so faith, unity, leadership, and learning.
Coaches nominate their athletes, with the vote then being held to decide winners. For the recently graduated women's basketball player Emily Brandeberry, the LEAFYs are the perfect time to celebrate a season of hard work.
I think the LEAFYs is a great way to bring everyone together, since we don't always get to watch one another play each other's sports if we're all doing our own practices or other things.
And the winner of the Ruth Gundon Award is Emily Brandeberry.
This is a really big deal because, one, Ruth Gundin was the first women's basketball coach from 1958, and she passed away, unfortunately, this past year. So it's a really big deal. Throughout my time through the women's basketball program, Coach Miller has really always brought her up and how important she is to women's sports in general.
No stranger to winning LEAFYs is Rustin Nice, who coaches cross country and the distance runners for the track and field program. He has twice been honored with the Coach of the Year award and was again this time around, but with a small twist.
And the winner of the Coach of the Year, oh my goodness, it's both of them.
I was co-coach of the year with Luke Wagner, yeah.
Nice shared the spotlight this year, but to him, the award was more of a reminder of what the team has been through and what they are capable of.
So I've won it twice before, and this year it matters to me more because of what the team did. After we lost Ezra in October, they kept showing up for each other, and they put themselves in positions to be academically and athletically successful. But more than that, they took care of each other. And so to achieve this, to me, signifies what the team is and what they do. And so it's not my award, it's for them.
Nice's message is a reminder that there is more to the title of student athlete than just being a student and just being an athlete. It's also about being a part of a team and a community as well. Reporting for Globe Sports, I'm Seth Smith-Kaufman.
If you visit Goshen College Athletics on Instagram at GC Maple Leafs, you can find the full list of LEAFY Award recipients. Be sure to drop them a like and follow up to stay up to date with what GC Athletics are achieving. While the LEAFY Awards were the headline for GC Athletics this week, there are some other names that deserve some spotlight for their performances. The first is women's volleyball junior Sadie Brenneman. She earned all tournament team honors last weekend at the Liz Lakowski Memorial Tournament hosted by Indiana Tech. She helped lead the team with 71 kills, 16 digs, and 2 aces on the weekend. So congratulations to Sadie on an incredible weekend performance. Also in the spotlight for athletics is the Everett Student Athlete of the Week. This week, the honor goes to men's soccer Mathurin Alawai. Last Wednesday, he helped the Leafs claim their first win of the season over Concordia 3-1 with a goal in just the 16th minute of play. Alawai is one of just 3 members on the team's roster to start all 7 games of the season and currently leads the Leafs in goals, points, shots, and shots on goal. Great work we are seeing from him, so of course a big congratulations to Mathurin Alawai for being the Everett Student Athlete of the Week. We're almost through this first Sports Corner of the year, but we still have a couple of things on the docket. Coming up after the break, we'll get into this week's highlight of the week and wrap things up with the Maple Leaf Minute hosted by Dante Stanton. Hang tight because that's coming up next on the Globe Sports Corner.
So you just graduated from Goshen College? What experiences prepared you for this job?
Where do I begin?
The deflected ball will actually come back to Matete as he tries to send another one into Rodriguez. Rodriguez has the shot! It's out of the way! Early in the match, first minute! Only wasting no time!
That was our highlight of the week. Cormac Hoop-Lichty on the call for that alongside Dan Esch Scott. Well, that was our biggest play of the past week, but now it's time that we look to the future. We'll now turn to my co-host Dante Stanton for our Maple Leaf Minute. Dante?
Yeah, Colin, let's get into it. It was a big week for Maple Leaf Athletics. I'm excited to bring it to you.
And that big week starts with our matchups tonight. The men's soccer team is in action at home against Rochester University. The Leafs look to grab their second win of the season in that matchup. You can catch live play-by-play coverage of the game on goleafs.net/live. The 5-1 women's squad is on the road tonight. They look to bounce back from their first loss of the season tonight at 7 against IU Northwest. Same time tonight, but on the road. Women's volleyball heads over to Fort Wayne for a matchup with St. Francis. Both of the highly touted men's and women's cross-country teams will be running this Friday in Upland, Indiana for the Bullock Invitational. Those races start at 5 for the women and 6 for the men. Women's volleyball will be at home on Friday to take on the vaunted Indiana Wesleyan Wildcats at 7 o'clock. Tennis is back at it on the home courts over at Goshen Junior High School this Saturday at 10 o'clock. Women's volleyball is at it again in conference play against the Marion Knights at 3. Men's soccer will take on Aquinas College on the road up in Grand Rapids at 3. And the women's soccer team will be back at home on the pitch against Siena Heights at 7 o'clock. That matchup will also be featured on 91.1 the Globe Radio app, and globeradio.org.
As we wind down this first sports corner of the year, just a reminder, you can find more Globe coverage of Maple Leaf Athletics on all of our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and the X app, all at 91.1 The Globe. Also check out our website, globeradio.org, and our Globe Radio app so you don't miss a single beat. A very impressive start to the Maple Leaf athletic year, which means there is only more to come as we get further into the semester, and how could you not be excited about that? We'll be back in 2 weeks for more updates on everything GC athletics. And with that being said, for the whole Globe staff, for Dante Stanton, for myself, Collin Echols, I'll sign things off. Thanks to all of you for watching. And remember, only the best Maple Leaf athletics content coverage is found right here on the Globe Sports Corner.